All right,
I am
AEW
standing in
Dynamite starts
between
off with the Hurt
two of the
Syndicate. Starts
finest.
off with MVP cutting a promo. He basically just talks about what happens at Full Gear and talks about their goals and basically talks about they're out looking for more gold and more power. And then he mentions, the match that Bobby Lashley had at Full Gear, mentioning how he's now the most dangerous man in AEW. Basically, building up the Hurt Syndicate, building up the match that's going to happen for the Continental Classic with Shelton Benjamin versus Mark Briscoe. Then it leads into their match. Shelton Benjamin picks up the victory, picks up the 3 points in the Continental Classic. Not gonna really speak too much about the match. It was a fine match for what it was, nothing too major, but he picks up 3 points in the Continental Classic. He'll continue, to look dominant in the Hurt Syndicate, put on a good show for the Continental Classic. Don't need to mention more about what happened in this opening segment, but it was a good opening segment to start off Dynamite. After this, we're gonna get a Mercedes Renee. She ends up cutting a short promo. She was mentioning, her match at Full Gear. Then she starts mentioning Camille about how Camille can't do anything right and how she keeps failing. Then Camille takes the microphone away from Mercedes and ends up telling her to shut up and says that she quits. She quits being her bodyguard and she ends up leaving. All right. This was a good decision, but I don't know how impactful this decision would be because Camille is basically she's done. I don't know how you rebuild her. I don't know how you rebuild Mercedes because Mercedes is very ice cold. She's not interesting right now. I don't know what you do after that, after Chris Statlander, unless you're gonna have them feud, which I don't know how good of a feud that will really be because it would just not make sense for Camille to all of a sudden be a threat to Mercedes when she's been looking like an idiot and a loser for these past since she's been in AEW. So that wouldn't make sense to have them feud because if you're gonna have them feud, you might as well just have Mercedes win because it would make no sense for Camille to be booked strong all of a sudden. Yeah, I don't know where you go from here. It was a good idea to break them up because having them together was just it was just I wouldn't say it was a dumb idea. I understood the logic. It was just dumb, in my opinion, to think it will work. Mainly because I just don't see Mercedes having a bodyguard making much sense due to the character she plays. But yeah, I don't know where you go from here. I really don't know where you go for. I am lost for ideas. I don't know what you do with Camille. I don't know what you do with Mercedes, but something has to change with both of them because I don't know what you do. But I have no ideas because they're both ice cold. After this, we end up getting Swerve Strickland first. Not even a match. What am I thinking? It was a segment with Swerve. He was finna talk about. He was getting interviewed by Renee. He was about to mention the Bobby Lashley match, but then Max Caster ends up walking by, making fun of him, and then he ends up alluding to Swerve Strickland house being burned down, and then Swerve attacks Max Caster. Okay. I don't really have much to say here, to be honest with you. The only thing I could think of is that Max Caster has to be joining the Hurt Syndicate. That's the only thing I could think of because there's no way you're finna just have them feud or have them interact and it has nothing to do with the Hurt Syndicate because there's no way they're finna just have a Swerve Strickland Max Caster feud. There's no way that's happening. Um, I don't like the idea of breaking up the Acclaim. Now, the Acclaim needs something new. I will say that. They do need something new. But yeah, I don't know if they should break up. Mainly because AEW's booking is not that good right now. So breaking them up, I just don't see a world where either of them do anything as single stars. And plus, the tag division is not good. I don't know why you would break up one of your tag teams when your tag division sucks. So it's similar to what I was talking about with WWE when they was doing when I don't think they're breaking up DIY, but it's the same thing. Don't break up your tag division when you don't have strong tag teams. You just don't do that. But we'll see how this plays out. Now we end up getting Hangman. He was cutting a promo. Tony Schiavone called him out to the ring. He ends up mentioning what happened on Saturday and gave his reasons for why he did what he did. He basically ends up saying that him and Christian Cage made a deal, but Christian Cage didn't succeed in his end of the bargain with him being able to successfully cash in. So it makes more sense to why Hangman ended up coming out in the first place. Plus, Christian did at Full Gear did say that he would get the first opportunity if he was to become world champ. Then Hangman basically ends up saying that his main focus right now is going after the world title, which is great. Thank God, because We need Hangman in the world title picture. He should have been in the world title picture. Should have been in it after he defeated Swerve at All Out, in my opinion. But after this, though, after he mentions the world championship, you get Jay White. He comes out. Then he starts mentioning Hangman losing to him and how he lost 5 times to him, and that if anyone gets an opportunity at the world title, it should be him. Then the Death Riders come out. They end up attacking Hangman and Jay White. They take them out, and that's the end of the segment. Not going to speak too much on it, but this is good. This was the best segment of the show. This was the most entertaining segment of the show. This is good. You get Jay White, Hangman in the world title picture, giving it more prestige, making the story more interesting. Thank God, because we need people like Jay White, Hangman going after Jon Moxley, because Orange Cassidy was just not it. And then based on how they're building Darby Allin right now, I don't even want to see him going after Jon Moxley. So yes, this is good. This is great. Can't wait to see how this plays out with Jay White, Hangman being in the AEW world title picture. After this, we end up getting Claudio versus Ricochet, Continental Classic match. I am not going to speak too much on this. Really, Claudio picks up the victory fairly easily, mind you. This match was all right. All the Continental Classic matches were just okay to me. It was all right. It was a fine match. I'm not going to really say I'm concerned because I never really cared, but it is weird. The booking of Ricochet is weird. With the hype he was getting and with all, the talk of him, finally breaking out, and then now we're looking at him in AEW, and it's like, it looks like he's doing the same thing he was doing in WWE, if I'm being honest. Now, I do think the Continental Classic will be somewhat good for him, because I do think he will have that Will Ospreay match either during the Continental Classic. Well, yeah, he's going to have it in the Continental Classic, but they're probably going to do a thing where they face off in the pay-per-view for the Continental Classic or before, whatever it is, because I know the rules are slightly different than before, because I know that the runner-ups face off at World's End, but also I forgot exactly how it is, but I got to go back and rewatch the actual. I know something changed from this year to last year, something about the runner-ups, but I'm interested to see what happens. But yeah, I'm not going to speak too much on the match because Claudio picked up the victory, but it is crazy how, how hyped up Ricochet was, and now it looks like what I thought was going to happen is happening, which is he wasn't going to do much. It was just going to be the same thing he was already doing in WWE. Now, after this, we end up getting Adam Cole, and matter of fact, I'm not even going to speak too much on this promo. I'm just going to say this very quickly. This feud needs to end now. Not even now. It needs to end at World's End. This MJF Adam Cole feud, I tried to give it a chance. I really did. But man, the more and more they drag this out, the more and more I am not liking this story. Basically, the premise of this promo was basically Adam Cole wants to fight MJF. Then Kyle O'Reilly ends up coming out. He wants MJF now because of Roderick Strong getting attacked. MJF pops up on a Titantron, basically declines, fighting either of them. He ends up mentioning the Diamond Ring tournament for the Diamond Ring, I think. Then they both enter it. Why are we having a tournament for a Diamond Ring? Look, I know they've been doing that tournament for the Diamond Ring. I just don't understand why the Diamond Ring should just be MJF's possession, if we're just being honest. It should just be MJF's thing. I don't understand why we have a tournament for a ring of all things. AEW already has too many championships. That's number one. They already have too many championships. Now you're adding a ring that, let's just be honest, is useless. It has no prestige. It's only cool when MJF has it, and as of right now, it's not really that cool of a thing because MJF is kind of not that hot right now due to the stories he's been put in, and AEW being not as hot as well. So I don't even know why we're even having a battle royal. Now Kyle O'Reilly is in this mix wanting to fight MJF, which is stupid. Who cares? Just get this over with. Whoever wins at World's End, I could care less about these two, but the feud needs to end. It needs to end at World's End, and that needs to be enough because, man, this feud is just not good. They should have just strapped it after Double or Nothing when MJF first returned and kicked Adam Cole. They should have ended it there, but here we are. Oh, my God. We end up getting a Wrestle Dynasty qualifying match with Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata. Why? Why are we getting qualifying matches from another company why was this on the show? Why? Why was this on it? This makes no sense at all. Why was this could have been used to build up other stories, but no, we're using a New Japan tournament on Dynamite. This is crazy. Like, this is so stupid. Like, this is so stupid. And the whole purpose of this match was really just to build up Julia Hart returning. That was like, you could have done, like, oh my God. Like, the show wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was very mediocre, but it wasn't bad. But if the whole purpose was for you to tease a Julia Hart return, because that's basically what they did here, you could have just done what you did the last 2 weeks, which is her having a interview segment and then her get interrupted by you. You could have just done that. That would have been better than what we did here. Okay? Like what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? I'm not even going to mention the other match that shouldn't happen, which is Chris Jericho and Ishii, because I'm not even going to mention that, because that shouldn't even be happening on Dynamite either. But for whatever reason, Tony Khan, I don't know what he's thinking, but man, this was just ridiculous. After this, we end up getting Mina Shirakawa. She ends up getting interviewed by Renee. She talks about Mariah May, talk about the turn, and she ends up mentioning how she knew that this day would come. She knew that if she was able to turn on Tony, she was going to turn on her. Then Mariah May ends up popping up from behind. She ends up, I think she hit her with a wine bottle, I think, or she hit her with some type of glass bottle, I think. She ends up hitting her with a glass bottle, and then that's basically the end of the segment there, and they're going to have a match in 2 weeks, and the winter is coming. This is strange because this is basically a 3-week build. I'm going to assume they're going to have another match. There's no way that we waited 3 months for the whole Mina Shirakawa thing to come into effect, and then you're just going to have a blow-off match, and that's it. Like, this has to be more, right? Like, I thought that they would have this match at World's End. Maybe they still would have the match at World's End. Maybe they would just have this match, and then it ends some type of shenanigans, and then they have a rematch. Maybe that's how it is, but hopefully this is just not just a one and done, because I think we need more. Especially with Mariah May title run being so bad. I think she needs more, because there's no way we waited this long for Mina just for her to end this feud this quickly. So hopefully this progresses a little bit further and they drag it out a bit, but we'll see how this goes. Then we get the main event, which I'm not talking about. Brody King and Darby Allin Continental Classic match. There's nothing to explain here. Like, they fought like 5 times already. I don't really need to explain this match. Brody King picks up the victory, and then afterwards, Claudio was about to attack Darby Allin, but then Brody King ends up stopping him, having a stare down to build up their match for next week, I guess. Yeah, this overall show was just okay. You guys let me know your opinions down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it. I don't have much to say here, because the show wasn't bad. It was just very mediocre. But yeah, you guys let me know your opinions down below. And yeah, that's it.